8km state championship here.
Ali O'Kane, congratulations, great run today in the Victorian 8km cross country.
Thanks, Tim. Yeah, that was pretty tough, but yeah, good fun.
Now, a new course here at St Anne's, and we've heard a few people saying it was a tough one out there. Obviously the wind was also quite a factor.
Yeah, it was tough. I mean, probably the main thing I found was that was no time where you felt like you were running on the flat, so it was up and down the whole way, but I think that's cross country and it's it's going to be tough, and that probably makes it more fun. So yeah, it was good.
Would I be correct in saying this is your first cross country Open Championship?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think I've ever won one of these events before.
So the opposition was pretty hot too, so it was not as we'd expect in an AV race. We had some good competitors out there, a very strong field.
Yeah, I think every AV race you go to, there's going to be a really good field, and that's probably why we're so lucky here in Victoria. And I certainly knew that there were some pretty fast girls that would be coming at me, so I think that probably pushed me along to the finish. So
now Charlotte and Wilson made the first break, and then not long into the second lap you're the one who then took the lead, and you really then continued on with it and didn't really look back.
Yeah, I went past Charlotte and I think I got a bit excited when I realised I was in the lead, and probably went a bit hard for a K or so, and then thought, oh, I might have just done a number on myself there. I think I'm going to pay for that later, and the last 3 Ks were pretty tough. I was struggling, but I think, yeah, I managed to hold on luckily.
Now, you're not long off the World Half Marathon Champs in Valencia, and we will talk a little bit about that because it really was for you quite a breakthrough performance.
That was a great experience, and I definitely surprised myself with the time I ran for the half, and I think getting to be in the team with Sinead and yourself as the coach, it was really good fun, and just being in a field with that many girls that are that fast, it sort of lifts you, it gives you a bit of adrenaline, and yeah, that was a really enjoyable experience. So
now both you, Sinead and yourself, probably went into that ranked maybe between 35 and 45 when you look at the personal best and the season's best. Why was it, do you think, that both of you ran so far above rankings, finishing in the low 20s?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think Sinead and I studied the weather pretty extensively the week before, and I think we'd worked out where it was going to be windy, where we needed to be in a good pack, and the field went out really, really fast in the women's race. So we were in a pack that was probably running at a fairly even pace throughout the whole race, and the girls in front of us were just blowing up. So I think it lifted our pack because people just kept coming back to us, and we kept overtaking sort of throughout the race, and I think that was probably what it was. We just had a good pack and got lucky, and Sinead's a pretty clever racer, and I knew being in the pack with her that we were going to run a sensible race, so yeah, it was good.
Now Valencia's renowned for being a flat, fast course. It's obviously where the women's world record was set, but conditions on the day weren't that great, were they?
No, it was, temperature-wise it was quite good, but it was really windy, which I think Valencia is renowned for being quite a windy city, and we, like I said, we'd studied the wind direction, and I think even though it was quite tough with the wind at stages throughout, we were prepared for it, and we had a beautiful tailwind for the last 5K. So when you start to feel tired and you've got a 50km/h wind behind you, it makes the last 5Ks not too bad.
Now, unfortunately, Millie Clark was part of the team and had to pull out late because of injury, but chances were, had she run to normal form, you girls would have finished possibly 4th or 5th in team standings behind Ethiopia, Kenya and Bahrain. What does that say about Australian half marathon running?
Yeah, that was a shame that Millie wasn't able to run, and yeah, probably she would have probably finished quite high up in the rankings. And yeah, I think Australian women's distance running at the moment is really coming ahead, and it just takes a couple of girls to start running that bit faster, probably like the likes of Jess and Lisa, and then everybody realises, oh, maybe it is possible to get closer to that 2:30, sub 2:30, and it's just, I think it's lifting everybody, and it'll be really good over the next few years to see what happens. But I think yeah, it's going to be quite difficult to make Australian marathon teams in the future.
But I think we also saw that out there today, that the quality is there, especially in the women's, and not putting anything against the men, because we had Brett running beautifully today and Maddie, but the women's depth is going through the roof at the moment, and just the thoughts about, well, how do you strategise? Which teams do you try to make? Like, do you look at the cross country next year for World Cross?
Yeah, cross country was probably the thing that I always most loved about running, and I'd love to make an Australian team for cross country, so that would be amazing. I mean, but again, you never know, the depth is so great, and depending on what a lot of the marathon girls decide to do, as well as the track girls, whether there is a spot in that team, we'll wait and see. But yeah, I think I'll stick to focusing on the marathon, and then cross country would be, yeah, that would be a great opportunity as well if it happened.
But World Championships next year, a little bit controversial. They're going to be in Doha, so we know it's going to be a hot one. Is that also in your sights, a possibility of running in potentially 35 degrees in Doha for World Champs? Yeah, I haven't really thought a lot about it, to be honest, but I'll try and run a qualifier for it and then see what happens. Again, it will depend on who nominates and things like that. I mean, any opportunity to run for Australia for me would be fantastic, so I don't imagine that I would turn it down if the opportunity arose. But yeah, after watching the Commonwealth Games and seeing how tough it was for those runners out there, it definitely does make it seem a little scarier running in the heat. But I think I read last night that they're going to run it at midnight or something, so that could be interesting. Might need to get your coach on a rant about this one, perhaps.
Oh yeah, it doesn't take much to get him on a rant, so yeah, you should interview him.
Ali O'Kane, so well done again today. So great to have you here, and hopefully see more of you during the AV XCR season.
Yep, I'll be here. Thanks, Tim.